Part 1-7. The Power of Silent Attractiveness. Have you ever met someone who didn't say much, but somehow the moment they entered the room, all eyes subtly drifted toward them? Not because they were loud, not because they were trying to be the center of attention. In fact, it's the opposite. They weren't doing anything dramatic. No flashy clothes, no wild hand gestures, no booming laugh echoing through the room. But something about them felt magnetic. That's what we're talking about today, silent attractiveness. And no, it's not about being hot or handsome in the traditional sense. This isn't about chiseled jawlines or perfect hair. This is deeper, more powerful, and way more lasting. Silent attractiveness is the ability to command respect and admiration without even needing to raise your voice. It's a kind of confidence that doesn't seek attention but gets it anyway. It's calm, composed, deeply self-assured, and completely comfortable in its own skin. And here's the good news. You don't have to change who you are to tap into it. You don't need to pretend to be someone else's fake confidence or chase perfection. You just need to become more in sync with your best self. Because true presence isn't built on flash. It's built on consistency values, emotional control, and self-respect. In this video, we're diving into 11 habits that make you silently attractive without saying a word. These aren't tricks. They're not gimmicks. They're not pickup artist tactics. They're timeless traits rooted in self-awareness, emotional intelligence, stoic wisdom, and inner alignment. We're talking about habits like embracing your independence, mastering silent elegance, and becoming fully present in your interactions. These are the things that build quiet strength, the kind that draws people in, builds trust, and leaves a lasting impression without you having to try too hard. Let's get into the first habit that silently sets you apart in any room. Habit 1. Embrace your authentic independence. Let's be honest, there's something incredibly attractive about someone who doesn't need constant validation. They're just grounded, secure, like they've got their own back even when the world is spinning around them. Authentic independence isn't about isolating yourself or pretending you don't care about anyone else. It's not about being cold or standoffish. What it really means is you know who you are. You trust yourself. You don't need applause to feel worthy. That's rare, and people notice it. In a world obsessed with likes, followers, and external validation, authentic independence is a breath of fresh air. It sends a powerful message without you needing to say a single thing. I respect myself. I'm whole on my own. And trust me, that kind of energy is magnetic. But here's the real talk. Being truly independent isn't easy. It means making your own decisions even when they go against the grain. It means standing your ground when everyone else is chasing trends. And it definitely means learning how to enjoy your own company. Can you sit alone in a cafe without scrolling on your phone? Can you spend an evening by yourself without feeling bored or anxious? Those moments where you're completely comfortable being with just you, that's where authentic independence grows. Because when you stop chasing noise and start listening to your own values, your own gut, your own truth, everything shifts. You stop comparing yourself to everyone else. You start creating your own path, walking it with quiet confidence. People will sense it. You won't need to broadcast your confidence. They'll feel it in the way you carry yourself. You won't need to post quotes about self-love. They'll see it in how you move through the world. Want to build this habit? Start small. Ask yourself, Am I living in alignment with my own values? Or am I still trying to impress someone? Begin choosing actions that reflect your inner compass. Spend more time with yourself without distraction. Go for walks. Journal. Sit in silence. Learn what makes you feel grounded without external input. That's the foundation of silent attractiveness, knowing you're whole on your own. And ironically, once you no longer need anyone's attention, you start attracting it effortlessly. Habit 2. Master the art of silent elegance. Sometimes the most powerful people in the room are the quietest. Silent elegance is all about presence. It's the way you carry yourself, how you move, how you treat people, and the energy you bring. It's calm, it's graceful, it's intentional. Think of someone who walks into a room and doesn't say a word, but you still feel their presence. They don't need to dominate the conversation. They don't need to dress over the top. They don't need to force a smile. But somehow, you respect them instantly. That's silent elegance in action, and it starts with body language. You don't need to overdo anything. No exaggerated movements, no attention-seeking gestures. Just simple things like standing tall, walking with purpose, making relaxed eye contact. A calm posture says more than a loud voice ever could. But silent elegance goes beyond posture. It shows up in your manners, how you treat the waiter, how you listen when someone talks, how you respond when you're under pressure. Are you thoughtful in your responses? Are you composed when things get stressful? That's what people remember. That's what makes an impression. We live in a loud world. Everyone's talking. Everyone's performing. So when you show up with quiet grace, it cuts through the noise. People feel it. It makes them pause. They want to know more. To build this habit, start with mindfulness. Observe your own presence. Are you rushing? Tense, reacting quickly to everything? Take a breath. Slow down. Be deliberate. Then refine the way you express yourself. Not by being fake. Not by trying to be someone you're not. But by asking, am I bringing calm into the room or chaos? Silent elegance isn't about being perfect. It's about being grounded, composed, intentional. Over time, people begin to associate you with calm respect and presence. They might not be able to explain it, but they'll feel it. And that's what silent elegance does. It makes people respect you, admire you, and want to be around you without you having to say a single word. Part 2, 7. Subtle sophistication, presence, and mystery. Habit 3. The subtle scent of sophistication. Let's talk about something that people rarely mention but never forget. Your scent. Yeah, really. The way you smell can make a bigger impression than the words coming out of your mouth. And we're not talking about drowning yourself in cologne or walking around with a cloud of perfume trailing behind you. We're talking about subtlety. A refined, understated scent that complements your presence. You ever met someone and days later you still remember the way they smelled? Not because it was strong, but because it felt clean, confident, elegant. That's what we're going for. Scent is one of the most instinctive senses we have. It bypasses logic and goes straight to emotion. A subtle, pleasant fragrance can make people feel calm, intrigued, and even connected to you without you having to say anything at all. But it's not just about the bottle you choose. It's about what your scent says about you. It says, I care about the details. It says I respect myself. It says I don't need to shout to leave a mark. You don't need an expensive designer fragrance. You don't need to smell like a luxury hotel lobby. In fact, some of the most quietly attractive people simply smell clean, fresh, like they take care of themselves. And that's the real point here. Scent is just one expression of something bigger, self-respect through self-care. Clean hair, brushed teeth, well-maintained nails. These things seem small, but they signal something powerful. I take pride in myself even when no one's watching. Seneca, the Stoic philosopher, said, "Let your outward appearance be simple and dignified, reflecting the serenity of your mind." In other words, you don't need to wear luxury, you just need to embody care. The kind of quiet refinement that says, I know who I am. So the next time you get ready for your day, think about how you're showing up, not just visually, but in every detail. Let your presence speak without raising your voice. That's the quiet power of subtle sophistication. Habit 4. Be fully present. Here's a superpower that's almost extinct these days, the ability to be completely present. Seriously, when was the last time someone gave you their full attention? No phone in their hand, no glazed over look while thinking about something else, no rushing to interrupt, just full, calm, attentive presence. Feels amazing, right? That's because presence is rare, and when you give it, people don't forget it. Being fully present doesn't mean you need to talk more. It just means you're fully there, in your body, in your mind, in the conversation. It's the difference between hearing someone and really listening to them. Presence is felt when you look someone in the eye and give them space to speak. It's in the way you nod with intention, ask thoughtful questions, and respond with curiosity, rather than waiting for your turn to talk. And here's the thing, being present doesn't just make others feel good, it transforms how you feel too. When you practice presence, you're no longer living in the past or future, you're here, calm, in control. And that calmness becomes your anchor. People can feel it. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic thinker, wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." He knew that strength isn't found in multitasking or rushing ahead. It's found in this moment right now, because this is the only place life actually happens. When you're present, you're less reactive. You pick up on emotional cues others miss. You engage more deeply. You leave a mark without needing to perform. Want to become silently magnetic? Start by turning off distractions. Put the phone away. Breathe. Listen. Not just with your ears, but with your eyes, your posture, your full self. That simple act of showing up fully creates a kind of quiet intimacy and trust that no flashy personality can replace. Habit 5. A touch of mystery. Now for one of the most powerful and most misunderstood habits of silent attractiveness, mystery. We live in a world of oversharing, social media updates, tell-all TikToks. Everyone's broadcasting everything, and in that world, someone who doesn't reveal everything instantly more intriguing. Mystery isn't about being secretive or distant. It's about knowing what to share and what to leave unsaid. It's about letting people get to know you slowly, layer by layer. Because here's the truth, when you reveal everything, at once there's no story left to unfold, no discovery, no depth. But when you hold some parts of yourself back, not out of fear, but out of confidence, you create curiosity. people lean in. They want to know more. This isn't about playing games. It's not about being vague or emotionally unavailable. It's about being intentional. You don't need to explain every choice you make. You don't need to share every detail of your past. You can let your actions speak. You can say just enough and allow silence to carry the rest. As Epictetus said, "Be silent, or let your words be worth more than silence." That's the essence of mystery. Speaking when it matters. Holding back when it doesn't. Letting people earn access to your deeper world instead of giving it away for free. You can even embody mystery in the way you live. Have interests that aren't obvious. Take up a new hobby. Read a book on something unexpected. Let there be layers to your life that people discover over time, not in one conversation. So, how do you build this habit? Start by asking, am I oversharing just to feel seen, or am I sharing from a place of purpose? It's okay to let people wonder a little. In fact, it's powerful, because people don't fall in love or even admiration with what's fully known. They fall for what unfolds slowly, what reveals itself in whispers, not in shouts. A touch of mystery gives you presence without noise. And in a world that's constantly yelling for attention, that quiet intrigue is irresistible. Part 37, Cultural Wisdom, Compassion, and Joy. Habit 6. Cultivate cultural wisdom. There's something quietly powerful about someone who just gets it. Not just trends or small talk, but someone who understands the world, its rhythms, its people, its deeper stories. That's what cultural wisdom is all about. And no, it doesn't mean memorizing facts about ancient empires or reciting 5 languages on cue. Cultural wisdom is deeper. It's the calm confidence that comes from being curious about other perspectives, other lives, other ways of seeing the world. In short, it's about depth. When you meet someone who doesn't just talk, but thinks someone who listens with intention, who respects differences, who carries themselves with quiet thoughtfulness, you remember them. Why? Because they make you feel seen, understood, valued. That's cultural wisdom in action. It's being someone who listens without rushing to speak. Someone who isn't stuck in their own worldview. Someone who can engage meaningfully with anyone, anywhere. And in a noisy world full of surface-level conversations, that kind of connection, it's magnetic. Now, this habit doesn't require you to be a world traveler. You can cultivate it right where you are. Start with books. Read stories from different cultures. Watch documentaries that challenge your thinking. Follow creators who see life differently than you. Expand your bubble one piece at a time. Ask yourself, am I just listening to echo chambers, or am I seeking out new voices? And when you meet people who live differently, don't rush to judge or convert. Ask questions. Be curious. Try to understand why they see the world the way they do. That kind of awareness makes you incredibly attractive, not in a loud, performative way, but in a quiet, grounded way. Because it tells people, I see you, I respect you, I want to understand you. The Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius said, "Look beneath the surface. Let not the outward appearances mislead you." That's cultural wisdom. It's about seeing deeper, engaging fuller, and walking through the world with empathy and respect. Over time, that habit changes the way you move through conversations. You're no longer reacting, you're connecting, and that connection leaves a lasting impression, one that doesn't need noise to be powerful. Habit 7. The heartbeat of compassion. In a fast-paced world where everyone's rushing, pushing, and trying to get ahead, compassion is revolutionary, and not the loud kind. We're talking about quiet compassion, the kind that's steady, grounded, consistent, the kind that says, "I see you," without even needing to say it out loud. This is the kind of habit that instantly sets you apart. While others try to impress with charm or authority, true silent attraction comes from being someone who simply cares. Not for show, not to win approval, but because it's who you are. Think about the last time someone really listened to you. Not with half an ear, not with advice ready to fire, but just sat with you. Let you speak, held space. That feeling of being heard and valued, that's what compassion gives. And when you offer that to others, it's unforgettable. People crave emotional safety. In a world of judgment, performance, and pressure, being someone who brings patience, empathy, and kindness into a conversation is like water in a desert. Stoics are often misunderstood as emotionally cold, but that's not accurate. Marcus Aurelius actually wrote, "Be tolerant with others, strict with yourself." That's Stoic compassion. It's not weakness. It's strength under control. It's choosing to respond with care instead of ego, to listen instead of judge, to be kind without needing a round of applause. So, how do you live this habit? Start by listening to understand, not to fix. When someone talks, be there, fully. Don't rush to advice. Don't change the subject. Just be present. Practice patience, especially when people are at their worst. That's when compassion matters most. And most importantly, be kind to yourself first. Compassion isn't something you pour from an empty cup. If you're beating yourself up every day, if you're drained, you can't offer true empathy to others. So be gentle with your own growth, with your mistakes, with your pace. The more patience you offer yourself, the more naturally it flows to everyone around you. Compassion isn't loud. It doesn't need spotlight. But it changes lives and makes your presence unforgettable. Because people don't always remember what you said, but they always remember how you made them feel. And when you're the person who makes others feel safe, you don't need to chase attention. It finds you. Habit 8. Laughter and joy. You know what else makes someone quietly irresistible? Joy. Real, relaxed, no strings attached joy. The kind that bubbles up in a smile, a warm laugh, or a light-hearted comment that lifts the whole room's energy. Joy is magnetic. We've all been around someone who carries a storm cloud with them. Everything is heavy, serious, negative. It's exhausting. And the opposite, someone who can laugh, who finds delight in the small stuff, who brings warmth instead of weight. That person draws people in like a fire on a cold night. Now, let's be clear. This isn't about being the life of the party. You don't need to crack jokes or act like a clown. You just need to carry joy in how you see life, in how you respond to hard things, in how you choose to smile even when you don't have to. That's strength. And people feel it. Stoicism might seem like it's all about seriousness and control, but here's the twist. It actually encourages joy. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Joy is a response, a choice. And when you choose joy, especially when life gets hard, you show resilience. You show that you're not shaken by every wave. You've got something deeper holding you up. Want to build this habit? Start by noticing what makes you smile. Don't brush it off. Lean into it. Laugh at the small things. Find humor in your own mistakes. Don't take yourself so seriously that you forget to be alive. And surround yourself with people who lift you, who don't just point out problems, but see the good, the funny, the hopeful. Joy is contagious. When you carry it, others feel lighter around you, and that lightness builds trust, comfort, connection. In the end, joy isn't noise, it's presence. It's the warm light people want to be near. So smile, laugh, be playful, not to perform, but because life's too short not to enjoy it. And when you do, people will remember you not because you said the most impressive thing, but because you made them feel good without even trying. Part 4-7. Self-care, emotional intelligence, and consistency. Habit 9. The art of self-care. Let's talk about one of the most underestimated yet deeply magnetic habits, taking care of yourself. Not for vanity, not for Instagram, not for anyone else's approval, but simply because you respect yourself. Self-care is one of those things that doesn't scream for attention, it whispers. It's the quiet way you carry yourself, the clean, put-together look, the calm in your energy, the glow that comes from knowing you've prioritized your own well-being. And yes, people notice, even if they can't put it into words. It's in the way you walk into a room with balanced energy. It's in the way you listen without fidgeting, because your nervous system isn't fried. It's in the way your presence says, "I've got me." And that kind of calm, collected energy, it's magnetic. The Stoics had a phrase, mens sana in corpore sano, a sound mind in a sound body. They knew that true strength and presence comes from keeping your inner world and outer habits aligned. So, what does real self-care look like? It's not just bubble baths and skincare routines, though. Those are great. It's waking up early enough to eat breakfast instead of rushing out the door in a fog. It's moving your body, whether that's a walk, a stretch, or hitting the gym, not to look good, but to feel good. It's sleeping enough, hydrating, breathing, saying no to things that drain you, even if it means disappointing someone. It's setting boundaries, not because you're cold, but because you know your limits. And yes, it's about appearance too, but from a place of self-respect, not insecurity. Clean clothes, trimmed nails, fresh breath, the little things that say I care about myself, even when no one's watching. Want to be silently attractive. Take care of yourself in a way that says, I matter to me. Because when you do, your presence changes. You're not desperate. You're not chasing. You're not performing. You're simply being. And people can feel that. Start small. Choose one thing today. Drink more water. Take a break from your phone. Move your body for 10 minutes. These tiny actions are like bricks in the foundation of a quietly powerful life. Self-care isn't selfish, it's strategic. And when done consistently, it becomes a silent magnet, drawing the right people, the right energy, and the right respect into your life. Habit 10. Emotional intelligence and social awareness. There's a specific kind of person that people instinctively trust, admire, and gravitate toward. They don't dominate the conversation. They don't always have the best stories or the loudest laugh, but they understand people. They get the room. They know when to speak, when to listen, when to comfort, and when to stay silent. That's emotional intelligence in action. And when you pair it with social awareness, you become someone whose presence is quietly irresistible. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize and manage your own emotions while also reading the emotional landscape around you. It's knowing when someone's upset without them saying it. It's picking up on tension and easing it with a calm word or a reassuring glance. It's power, but subtle. And in a world where most people are too caught up in themselves to notice others, someone with emotional intelligence stands out immediately. Let's break it down. It starts with self-awareness. Can you notice when you're getting defensive or overwhelmed? Can you pause before you react? That's strength, not bottling emotions, but knowing how to manage them without letting them control you. Then comes empathy. This is where things get magnetic. When you genuinely try to understand what someone else is feeling without judgment, without interruption, you build trust faster than any clever joke or charm move ever could. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." That's not just good advice. That's magnetic energy. Now let's talk social awareness. This is your ability to read the room, to notice when someone's checked out, when someone else needs support, or when it's time to shift gears in a conversation. It's the subtle understanding of timing, tone, and presence. It doesn't mean walking on eggshells. It means moving through life with intention, care, and responsiveness. Want to build this? Here's how. Pause before responding. Not every comment needs a quick answer. Give space. Watch body language. Are people leaning in or pulling away? Are they lit up or shutting down? Ask questions with heart. Not what do you do, but how are you really doing? Respond to emotions, not just words. Sometimes I'm fine means I'm exhausted. Sometimes silence means I need someone to stay. Being emotionally and socially aware doesn't make you soft. It makes you strong. You become someone others seek out, someone they trust in tough moments, someone who doesn't have to shout to be heard. And that's the essence of silent attractiveness. You don't need to be the loudest in the room. You just need to be the most attuned. Habit 11. Consistency and reliability. Last but not least, the quietest habit of all, and maybe the most powerful consistency. You want to be respected, admired, trusted. Then show up over and over without making a big deal out of it. In a world full of flakiness, ghosting, broken promises, and people chasing short-term dopamine, someone who's simply reliable stands out like gold. Consistency is the habit that builds everything else. It turns your values into action. It turns your intentions into identity. It's the unspoken proof of your character. And here's the thing, consistent people aren't perfect. They're just present. They don't always have the right words. They don't always feel 100%. But they show up anyway. They follow through. They do what they say they're going to do. And because of that, they're trusted. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." That's consistency. You don't have to preach your values. You live them quietly, day after day. It might not feel flashy. It might not get applause. But trust me, people notice. And more importantly, they feel safe around you. To build this habit, keep small promises, even if it's just texting someone back when you said you would. Stick to your rituals, morning walk, nightly journal, daily hydration. These acts ground you. Be emotionally steady. No one wants to walk on eggshells. Be the calm in the chaos. And remember, consistency isn't about perfection. It's about honoring your word, especially when no one's watching. Over time, people won't just admire you, they'll depend on you. And that's rare, that's priceless, that's silently magnetic. Part 5-7, The Power of Quiet Presence. Final reflections and integration. So here we are. You've now explored 11 habits that shape the invisible magnetic force we call silent attractiveness. Not the kind that begs for attention, but the kind that commands it without a word. Not the kind that fades when the spotlight shifts, but the kind that lingers long after you've left the room. And maybe right now, you're starting to see a pattern. Every one of these habits, whether it's emotional intelligence, self-care, elegance, or consistency, doesn't scream, it doesn't demand, it doesn't force. Instead, it embodies. It speaks through energy, alignment, intention. Because silent attraction doesn't come from having the most charisma in the room. It comes from having the most integrity. Let's take a moment to recap what you've absorbed so far. 1. Authentic independence. You're not defined by external approval. You live guided by your own values and that quiet self-assurance. People feel it. You don't chase, they come to you. 2. Silent elegance. You carry yourself with calm composure and grace. You don't have to say much to make an impression. Your presence does the speaking for you. 3. Subtle sophistication. From the scent you wear to the way you care for yourself, your attention to detail shows that you respect yourself. And that quiet dignity is rare and magnetic. 4. Presence. You listen deeply. You don't zone out mid-conversation. You give people the gift of your full attention, and that makes them feel important because to you, they are. 5. A touch of mystery. You're not an open book. You reveal yourself, gradually leaving space for curiosity. Your depth unfolds over time, and that intrigue keeps people coming back. 6. Cultural wisdom. You seek understanding, not control. You listen, you learn, and you offer thoughtful perspectives without preaching. You connect with people because you respect their story. 7. Compassion. You care, not loudly, not for applause, but sincerely. You offer warmth, space, and support. And in a cold world, that warmth becomes unforgettable. 8. Joy. You smile, you laugh, you bring lightness even in darkness. Not because everything is perfect, but because you choose to see the good. That joy radiates confidence. 9. Self-care. You maintain your body, your mind, and your energy not to impress, but to protect your peace. And that steady, grounded presence is impossible to ignore. 10. Emotional intelligence. You respond, don't react. You know what you feel, and you understand what others feel. That emotional fluency makes people feel safe, seen, and understood. 11. Consistency. You show up. You follow through. You don't waver with the wind. You build trust not with speeches, but with actions. And that trust is the bedrock of all lasting attraction. Now, if you're thinking, wow, that's a lot to change, take a breath. This isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming intentional. You don't need to master all 11 overnight. You just need to start with one. Maybe it's practicing better presence, putting your phone away the next time you're in a conversation and giving someone your full attention. Maybe it's upgrading your self-care, getting an extra hour of sleep, or dressing in a way that makes you feel quietly confident. Maybe it's staying calm in a moment where you'd normally lose it and realizing you're stronger than you thought. Tiny decisions, small shifts, quiet movements. That's where silent attractiveness begins. Why this matters more than ever. In today's world, most people are chasing attention, chasing clout, performing like crazy just to be noticed. But here's the secret no one talks about. When you live in alignment, when your values, habits, and presence all match, you don't need to chase attention. It comes to you. People are starved for depth, for peace, for someone who doesn't play games, for someone who feels real. And when you become that person, you stand out without even trying. Your energy speaks for you. Your calm becomes contagious. Your consistency builds trust. Your silence becomes strength. And that's what truly makes someone attractive in a world full of noise. How to begin living these habits today. If you're ready to make this more than just theory, here's a simple framework. Pick one habit. Which of the 11 resonated most? Don't overthink it. Just choose one. Break it down. What's one small action you can take today that aligns with that habit? For example, if it's presence, turn your phone face down during conversations. If it's mystery, pause before oversharing online or in conversation. If it's self-care, drink a full glass of water as soon as you wake up. Anchor it daily. Build a simple ritual around it. Tie it to something you already do. Before your first meeting, take 10 seconds to breathe and ground yourself. After brushing your teeth, ask yourself, am I moving with purpose or rushing today? Reflect weekly. Every 7 days, ask, did I live that habit? Well this week, what worked? What didn't? This kind of gentle accountability isn't about pressure, it's about growth. Quiet, sustainable growth that builds the kind of presence people feel without you needing to announce it. Part 6, Part 7, Building a Stronger Self-Image and Silent Relationships. That last. Now that we've walked through the 11 silently attractive habits and how to start living them, let's talk about the inner transformation that happens when you begin to embody them. Because the impact isn't just outward, it changes how people see you, yes. But even more importantly, it changes how you see yourself. Let's get real. The world teaches us to perform, to curate a highlight reel, to get louder when we want to be noticed. But what happens when you finally stop chasing external validation and start choosing internal alignment? What happens is this: you become whole. The inner shift from insecure to inwardly solid. When you practice present self-care and emotional intelligence, you begin to feel something different settle into your bones, a calm, a rootedness. You're no longer rattled by every opinion, every missed text, every awkward silence. You stop questioning your worth every time someone doesn't immediately affirm you. Why? Because you've built a quiet foundation. You trust yourself now. You know what you value. You've learned how to self-regulate. You've gotten good at moving through life with grace, not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. And this is where true confidence is born, not from ego, not from aesthetics, but from consistency, from doing the work, from showing up in the small, invisible ways every day. Your posture changes, your tone softens, your eye contact holds, and before long, you're no longer wondering if people will like you, because you already like you. That's what makes silent attraction so powerful. It's not about getting others to see your worth. It's about living like you already know it. Relationships. Why they start to feel different. Here's the unexpected effect of these habits. Your relationships start changing. Some will deepen, some will fade, some will finally make sense. Why? Because you're no longer drawn to chaos. You're no longer seeking out the loudest person in the room or the most dramatic connection. You're attracted to peace, respect, and growth, and in turn, you start attracting people who value those things too. Let's break it down. When you're present, you stop settling for shallow conversation. You start craving depth, and you bring it too. Compassionate. You naturally attract people who are kind, open-hearted, and emotionally aware. Consistent, you become the anchor in people's lives, the one they can trust, the one they call when things get real. Independent, you stop trying to complete anyone and start building mutual connection. And you'll notice something wild. The people who used to exhaust you, they stop being appealing. The relationships you had to chase, you outgrow them. Why? Because when you cultivate silent strength, you stop performing for connection and start creating connection from a place of overflow, not emptiness. You become someone who brings value to a relationship not because you're trying to impress, but because you live with intention. That's the difference between attracting attention and building trust. When things get hard, because they will, let's be honest, living these habits isn't always smooth. You'll have days when you slip, when you fall back into validation seeking, when you're tempted to overshare, overreact, or overcompensate. That's normal. You're human. But here's the mindset shift. Don't chase perfection. Chase consistency. When you fall off, come back. When you mess up, realign. When you forget, forgive. These habits aren't about being flawless. They're about choosing to live more intentionally than you did yesterday. That's all. Because every time you choose presence over distraction, every time you choose grace over control, every time you choose stillness over noise, you're becoming someone stronger, calmer, and more grounded than you were before. And over time, that quiet strength becomes your reputation. People will talk about you differently, not because you ask them to, but because your energy speaks louder than your words ever could. Who are you becoming? Here's a powerful question to sit with. Who am I becoming by the habits I choose every day? Are you becoming someone who moves with purpose, speaks with clarity, cares without needing credit, holds their ground in silence, inspires without forcing? Or are you still living for applause, still waiting to be seen, to be chosen, to be validated? Because the moment you realize you don't need to earn worth, that it already exists within you, you unlock a completely different way of moving through life. The goal isn't just to be noticed, it's to be felt. Felt in how you listen. Felt in how you walk into a room. Felt in how you love, how you lead, how you simply are. And that kind of presence, that kind of quiet confidence, it doesn't fade. It doesn't expire. It doesn't need a microphone. It simply lasts. Part 7-7, your next step, and the quiet legacy of presence. So here you are standing at the edge of a new chapter. You've learned the 11 silently attractive habits. You've seen how they show up not just in your outer behavior, but in the core of your being. You understand now that silent magnetism has very little to do with volume and everything to do with alignment. Now the question becomes, what will you do with it? This isn't the end, it's the quiet beginning. The beauty of silent attractiveness is that it doesn't announce itself. You won't wake up one morning to a trumpet playing in your head saying, "You made it." No, it's subtler than that. You'll notice that people start listening when you speak, even if you say less. You'll notice that conversations feel deeper, more effortless. You'll notice that certain rooms feel calmer when you enter. You'll notice that people linger after you leave because something about you stays with them. This is the beginning of living with quiet strength, and your next step isn't to overhaul your life overnight, it's to start paying attention to the tone of your voice, to the energy you bring into a room, to the way you breathe when you're listening, to the moments when silence is more powerful than speech. Because the truth is, the most unforgettable people in the world aren't necessarily the most impressive. They're the ones who made you feel something without trying. And now that person can be you. Live it to become it. Let's talk practically for a moment. If you want these habits to become second nature, you need to live them in small, repeatable ways. So here's a challenge. Over the next 7 days, choose one habit per day. Each morning, ask yourself, how will I embody this today quietly, consistently, without needing attention? Here's how that might look. Day 1, independence. Say no to something out of alignment. Choose solitude instead of distraction. Day 2, elegance. Slow down. Be graceful in your movement and calm in your speech. Day 3, subtle sophistication. Pay attention to grooming. Wear something that makes you feel composed. Day 4, presence. Put your phone away. Make someone feel like the most important person in the room. Day 5, mystery. Resist the urge to overshare. Let your actions speak. Day 6, compassion. Offer kindness without needing it, returned. Be still with someone's pain. Day 7, consistency. Do one thing you've been avoiding. Show up even when no one sees it. This is how quiet power is built. Not through radical transformation, but through daily commitment to who you want to be. What they'll say about you, even when you're not in the room. Here's a little secret that you don't learn until you've walked this path for a while. People will talk about you. Not in gossip, not in drama, but in admiration. They'll say, "There's something about them. I can't explain it. They just have this calming presence. When I talk to them, I feel heard, seen, respected." And you won't have to be the funniest, the smartest, or the most charismatic. You'll just be you, fully present, deeply aligned, emotionally aware. And that will be more than enough. Because when the world is loud and fast, the rarest thing you can be is steady. The legacy you leave. Let's zoom out for a moment. What kind of impact do you want to leave behind, not just today, but in the months and years to come? Do you want to be remembered as the one who always had the best stories, or the one who left people better than they found them? Do you want to be remembered for how many followers you had, or for how deeply you listened? Do you want to be known for how loud you were, or for how safe people felt around you? Because the truth is, loudness fades, showmanship exhausts, but quiet strength, that sticks. It's remembered, it ripples. Final words: why quiet is the new powerful. We live in an era where everything is designed to make you louder. Louder opinions, louder aesthetics, louder personalities. But the future, it belongs to those who can still themselves in the noise, to those who can build inner peace while others panic, to those who know that confidence doesn't need to shout, it just needs to show up. So, let this be your reminder. You don't need to become someone else. You don't need to chase perfection. You don't need to broadcast your worth. You only need to live it. And if you do, you'll become unforgettable, not because you demanded attention, but because your presence brought peace in a world desperate for it. That is the power of silent attractiveness. Not loud, not flashy, just real and quietly unstoppable. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If this resonated with you, take a moment right now to sit in silence. Let these words settle. Let your next step rise from intention, not urgency. And as always, stay grounded, stay intentional, and keep becoming the best version of yourself. The world may not notice right away, but in time it always does.